How lucky am I? What a thrill it is to be once again spending New Year's Eve in the living rooms and on the tablets of the nation. But before we get started, I have a promise. This show is not about the pandemic, and it's not about COVID. In fact, you will not hear the P word or the C word from me. No, because tonight is about the future, and I believe the future is bright. It is as bright as the lights that are shining behind me in beautiful Portagrave Harbor, Newfoundland and Labrador. You know, when I'm in a location like this, in a situation like this, I like to rely on a nautical metaphor. And when I think of the past year or two, I can't help but think of my poor Uncle Saul. He had a boat with an outboard motor, and he was always futzing with it. But no matter what he did, it would never start on the first or the second pull. It would sputter, it would putter, but then go silent. But the third pull was always the charm. The third pull was glorious. And that's the way I feel. I feel the last 2 years were the first two pulls of the decade. And this year, the engine will roar to life, we'll take off, we won't look back. Tonight is about playing with the choke and setting sail. I know, I just mixed my nautical metaphors. You don't sail with an outboard motor, but my point is, we're all in this together. We are connected. Let's say goodbye to this year as one and all agree. The new decade starts right now.
Welcome to New Year's Eve 2022. Join us tonight as we touch down throughout this country and celebrate new beginnings. Guiding us through the night is our host, Rick Mercer, from his home in Newfoundland and Labrador. This is Canada's New Year's Eve countdown to 2022 on CBC.
Hello and welcome to Countdown to 2022 on CBC, live from my shed in Chapels Cove, Newfoundland and Labrador. Like so many Canadians, my New Year's Eve plans went sideways this year. I was originally going to be broadcasting tonight from the Blue Mountain Ski Resort in Collingwood, Ontario. But I was literally on my way to the airport when, as they say around these parts, things got tangly. So I turned around, I came back to my favorite place on earth, my shed. It's warm, it's toasty, it's pretty much the only place I know where I can get in without having to scan a QR code or getting a pipe cleaner shoved up my nose. And that's a positive. And if you know me, you know I'm all about the positive. In fact, I made a list of Canadians who enjoyed this past year so much, they would probably call it their best year yet. Canadians like William Shatner, star of stage and screen, who at the age of 90 became the oldest man in space, fulfilling a lifetime ambition he never felt possible. Also on the list, okay, that's as far as I got, but imagine Shatner went to space. Another highlight of this year, in my mind, this was a census year. Ah, you forgot that, didn't you? See, you were having too much fun. The census results are in, and can you believe it? We are now up to 38 million cannabis stores, many of whom reported a very good holiday season. Especially large were gummy sales in the lead up to Queen Elizabeth's annual Christmas message, where she honored her late husband, reflected on the holiday spirit before trashing the Ticats for conceding the single point that cost them the Grey Cup. We have a lot to look forward to in 2022. Our colleagues at CBC Sports are looking forward to attending the Winter Olympics in Beijing and returning, either by Air Canada or in a daring escape through the mountains on bobsled. Of course, Canada has announced a diplomatic boycott of the Games. We will send a team, but we will not allow any Canadian bureaucrats or diplomats to attend. A huge blow to our athletes' morale. Their dreams of having an awkward conversation with a guy named Wendell from the Department of Fisheries have been dashed. We are going to have a great time tonight. Unless, of course, the Prime Minister's poll numbers go up in the next 30 minutes, and then we'll be switching over to live footage of Justin Trudeau calling an election while hiding in his living room. So, before that happens, let's get this showbiz spectacular started. Our first performer of the night hails from Toronto, which is a city just east of Hamilton. He became an international star with one of the biggest hits of the decade, which was nominated for Song of the Year at the Grammys. From Blue Mountain Resort in Collingwood, Ontario, please say hello to JP Saxe.